Okay, so let's again start with the preparation. So the gas is dry, that's the condition. The gas is dry by passing through a washer bottle, okay, and containing sulfuric acid. What does the washer bottle contain and how is it passed? They might ask you the question, and it contains the concentrated sulfuric acid, need to remember, and it is collected by upward displacement of air. Why? Oh, okay, we'll go through the points as soon as it passes by. Okay, so why it is collected by upward displacement of air? Because hydrogen chloride is collected by a normal delivery, or is also known as upward displacement of air, because it is 1.28 times heavier than air. And secondly, it is not collected over water because it is highly soluble in water. You need to remember the two properties of HCl. What are the two properties? That first is you need, okay, here I am writing properties. Okay, so you need to remember hydrogen chloride is collected by upward displacement of air. It is 1.2 times heavier than air, and it is not collected by over water because it is highly soluble in water. So if it will be soluble in water, if we collect over water, then it will be soluble in water. So how we will manufacture, or we will get that hydrogen chloride, exact concentration of hydrogen chloride that we are in a requirement of. Okay, so that's the main thing we need to remember. Every I think mainly every year or every pre-board examination, they might ask you the question why it is not collected over water. And it is same as in NH3 also. We will study about the same property, that ammonia is also soluble in water. That is another thing, but we need to remember first, coming back to the point. So reaction, that is very much important. That is a laboratory preparation of HCl. They might ask you the question, write the equations for the laboratory preparation of HCl, because they might give you a diagram, this diagram, labeling parts. Then what are the requirements? You may write the requirements like this, and like the properties, and then requirements of reactants, and how you will arrange that apparatus. See, 3-4 questions I am telling you right now. See, they will give the diagram, or if they will not give the diagram, then they will write with reference to the formation of HCl. Okay, the question might ask, they might ask the question with reference to HCl formation. Okay, so they might ask what are the reactants taking. First question, they might ask reactants. See, here I am writing only where the reactants is mentioned. What are the reactants? Then what do you observe when what do you observe during the reaction? During the reaction, what do you observe? Like here you will write the reaction, okay, with all the conditions. See, if you will not write here 200 degrees Celsius, they might cut your equation and they might give you 0. So you need to remember the reaction properly of every preparation. Okay, and so it is dried by passing through a washer bottle, concentrated sulfuric acid. So how it is dried, and which chemical is helpful in drying the HCl gas? So you need to remember that concentrated sulfuric acid is very much helpful, and it is first of all contained in washer bottle, and then it is used to dry the HCl gas. Okay, you need to remember. And then another question might arise, that whether is this a reversible reaction or not. They might write or they might give the option as slash, like whether it is irreversible, reversible. You need to write it that it's a reversible reaction. Okay, so another reaction you might arise, that is from here. You will continue this as reaction, and you may write, I may remove this cut. Okay, so you might start here. NaHSO4 plus NaCl gives above. If it will above, what are the two consequences? They may give you the question, what are the two consequences? क्या कहते हैं? What are the two consequences of, sorry for interruption, what are the two consequences of 200 degrees Celsius temperature? Give me the two condition. Okay, so you need to remember that. क्या है conditions for the 200 degree Celsius? If it is taken above, अगर ज़्यादा लिया जाता है, और if it is taken down, अगर कम लिया जाता है. Okay, you need to remember. और ये क्या कहते हैं अपना, ये 2NaCl वाला reaction you need to remember. Okay, if you will not try to remember, then it will take a, it will give you grave marks, not grace, grave marks. Na2SO, because if you will not write it, they will not mention, they will not cut your marks for the condition, because you have not written the condition. Na2SO4 is a hard crust substance. Hard crust substance which will stick to the walls of the glass apparatus and please write it. It is a hard crust substance which will stick to the walls of the glass apparatus, and it will be a hard thing to remove it, and the fuel will also be wasted and the reaction may not proceed. So that's why we will not take the temperature above 200 degrees Celsius. Instead, we will take the temperature below 200 degrees Celsius, giving it as a reversible reaction, and that will be the completion of hydrogen chloride gas. You need to take out that point very seriously, otherwise if your preparation will not be completed, then they will not give you whole marks. So again the question arises, how will you purify HCl gas? We will study it later. How will you purify HCl gas? Drying agents, like there are many drying agents. So drying agents like you might have all studied in lower classes like 7th, 8th, 9th. Okay, so drying agents like pentoxide, P2O5 and quicklime, CaO, they are not able to dry hydrogen chloride gas. It may perform a neutralization reaction, not utilization because water is not formed. It may give a decomposition, double displacement reaction, as they will react with hydrogen chloride gas. And if the hydrogen chloride gas, they will react with only that, then how we will get the hydrogen chloride gas concentration? Okay, and so that's why we use, how will you purify or dry? Here is the point. That's why we use concentrated sulfuric acid. How is HCl gas purified or dried? You will not write purified, you will write dried. That is through H2SO4 gas. Okay, you need to remember that point, through H2SO4 gas. Sodium chloride gas is sodium chloride is cheap. Why do we prefer sodium chloride? That's the one of the questions. See, whether I passes by the question, then you also pass by writing the question in your copy where you are taking down the notes. That a very important question, which I am telling you right now. So why do you think the sodium chloride gas is taking? Sodium chloride is taking, NaCl is taking because it is cheap, and therefore it is preferred for preparation of HCl gas. Okay, and so concentrated nitric acid is not used during the preparation of HCl gas because it may volatilize. Yani, what do you mean by volatile? See, volatile is forming the vapors. If HCl gas is prepared with concentrated nitric acid, then nitric acid like HNO3 and HCl both are indulged in forming the vapors, while H2SO4 is a non-volatile. There the question arises, why do we take H2SO4? Because H2SO4 is a non-volatile acid. Remember, H2SO4 is a non-volatile acid, and consider nitric acid, HNO3 and HCl are volatile acid. They form vapor easily, HCl and HNO3, while H2SO4 does not form any kind of vapors. That's why it is used. अगर we will use HCl, अगर हम HCl use करेंगे with HNO3 for purifying or drying it, it's in preparation also, then HCl will generally collab with nitric acid combine करेगा because दोनों के vapors form हो जाएंगे, और फिर उसके बाद वो अपनी concentration of HCl खो देगा, and we will not get what we want as the product, that is HCl. Okay, so that's why we use H2SO4 in every preparation. In preparation also, see, we have used H2SO4, and in drying also we will use concentrated H2SO4. Remember, when it is in every sphere of preparation we have taken concentrated H2SO4. Okay, so moving on to the next stage, what it is given in the this box, we need to remember that also. Flat bottom flask or round bottom flask can be used because due to heat at high temperature. High temperature means below 200 degrees Celsius is also high temperature, so that's why we are using round bottom flask. This reaction indicates clearly the acidic nature of sodium hydrogen sulfide. Which reaction? This one reaction. See, double sign. So NaHSO4 is a sodium hydrogen sulfate. You need to remember that. Sodium hydrogen sulfate, and this is a trickled reaction. That is what will be the consequence if we will take above 200 degrees Celsius. You need to remember that. Okay, and so or above 200 degrees Celsius, if you will promote that, like this, इसको नहीं लेंगे, ये वाला reaction we will not take. Instead we will take this, जिसके साथ हमने below 200 Celsius का reaction किया है. Then we will get Na2SO4, which is a hard crust. We will read it. Okay, so here we will come upon the point identification. When the jar is completely filled with hydrogen chloride, fumes above the jar's mouth, okay, fumes in white fumes, like, okay, and due to formation of hydrochloric acid, okay, after that hydrochloric acid is formed in atmospheric at water vapor के साथ, when it combined it will form white fumes. Generally you will see the reaction here like HCl, which is a test for HCl. See, it's a test for HCl. You may remember, wherever you are writing or taking down the notes, just write there that is the test for HCl. HCl plus NH4OH gives NH4Cl plus H2O. That is instead a test for that. And dense white fumes of ammonium chloride will be produced, proving thereby that the jar is full of hydrogen chloride gas. See, and NH4Cl के dense white fumes form होते हैं when it will combine with HCl with NH4OH, but you need to remember that because it might come as a test. That is, identification means what? Test for any kind of chemical or element. So it is a test for HCl. How we will detect HCl? When it will combine with NH4OH, it will give NH4Cl with the dense white fumes of NH4Cl plus H2O or water. Okay. Now coming upon the precautions you need to take. The lower end of the thistle funnel must be dipped in concentrated sulfuric acid, okay, and the delivery tube should be dipped in drying agent like concentrated sulfuric acid. Yes, H2SO4 has two properties. It is non-volatile as well as drying agent, two properties. Neither it will form vapors nor it will solidify. It is a drying agent, means dry कर देता है किसी को ना acid को, जैसे कि we will retain that acid in that form only. Okay, and so temperature is maintained in nearly 200 degrees Celsius, so ज़्यादा नहीं होता है. Okay, and here we will see why. Because the apparatus which is made of glass may crack, because Na2SO4 is a hard crust. You need to remember, it's a hard crust. मैं बार बार आपसे कह रही हूँ, you need to remember because you need to write this as a keyword. See, in chemistry, every teacher may see the keyword. What are the keywords in your answer? If you will not find the keyword, then they will automatically block up your marks. So you need to remember the keyword. Keyword is Na2SO4 is a hard crust, and the apparatus which is made of glass may crack. See, if it is hard crust, then it will stick upon that walls and it will crack that wall, and you will need to remove that. In order to remove that hard crust, your fuel is also important. मतलब imply होता है जिससे कि वो remove हो जाए, but it is also not removed because it is a very hard crust. So fuel is also wasted and glass may also crack. Okay, and sodium sulfate formed hard crust. See, another point has come here. It is a hard crust. That same point only. See, it's a keyword. Keywords are very important. See, I have underlined. And which sticks to the glass and is difficult to remove. Okay, and points, they are correlating to each other. So that was the preparation of HCl. That's very important. You need to remember that very much. So you need to revise. Just revise once again. NaCl plus H2SO4 gives below 200 degrees Celsius NaHSO4 plus HCl. Then again, two consequences: above 200 degrees Celsius from Na2SO4, and Na2SO4 is a hard crust. Fuel wasted. How it is purified? Purified का reaction you remember. For the consequence, if it is purified by CaO, because a drying agent, they react with hydrogen chloride gas. Purified by concentrated sulfuric acid. Why do we prefer NaCl? Because it is cheap. And why it is not collected over water? Because it is highly soluble in water. Why it is collected by downward delivery or upward displacement of air? Because it is heavier than air. And what is the test for HCl? This is the test. HCl plus NH4OH gives NH4Cl. NH4Cl plus H2O, where NH4Cl has given its dense white fumes. You may remember the diagrams and its labelings like this. You may remember it. Okay, so that was the thing for the first part. Thank you so much for the first part. Please revise till here. From the next, we will start the physical properties of hydrogen chloride gas. Okay, the experiment is it's a short chapter. We will finish it in the next turn. Next to next turn either, we will finish it. Okay, thank you guys. Keep watching.